When you start your day with prayer, you invite God into your life, creating a connection that stays with you even as you sleep. There's a powerful tool that shields you from the enemy's attacks and brings you closer to God's loving care. Unlike legendary weapons like Thor's hammer or Captain America's shield, this tool is much simpler and closer to home. It might be lying right next to you, unnoticed, waiting to be used in its full potential. It's the Rosary. In this video, you'll discover 5 surprising reasons to keep a rosary under your pillow every night. Comment Amen to invite God's blessings and protection over your sleep tonight. The power of the rosary is immense. It's not only a prayer, but a divine gift. Just placing it under your pillow can uplift your spiritual life, filling your nights with peace and protection. Saint Padre Pio, who dedicated his life to God through prayer and Mass, kept this ancient practice alive. He made it a habit to keep a rosary, sometimes even a small one, under his pillow. Padre Pio taught that following the traditions of our ancestors can only guide us in the right path. Satan despises this prayer, but he can never destroy it. The Rosary is the prayer of victory, taught to us by Our Lady, much like the Our Father was taught by Jesus. For Padre Pio, the Rosary was a treasured prayer. He would pray it several times each day, decade after decade, often with a rosary wrapped around his hand like a precious jewel or shield. He kept several rosaries under his pillow and on his nightstand, referring to the rosary as his weapon. Years prior, he resolved to pray at least 5 complete rosaries daily. Our Lady once told Padre Pio, "With this weapon, you will prevail." Believing in its power, Padre Pio clung to the rosary, and as his death approached, he urged his spiritual followers to love Our Lady and make her loved. Always pray the rosary. At night, he would keep a rosary around his arm. A few days before he passed, as he prepared for bed, he requested his weapon. The friars, curious, asked him what he meant, as they couldn't see any weapon. Padre Pio explained, "It's in my habit." They checked his pockets and found only the rosary. Padre Pio answered, "Is this not the real weapon?" Padre Pio advised his spiritual children, "When you've fulfilled your daily duties, use any free time to kneel and pray the rosary. Pray before the Blessed Sacrament or a crucifix. After each Glory Be, say, 'Jesus, I love you and am sorry for offending you.' If you grow tired, take a rest, then resume your prayer." One of Padre Pio's close companions shared, "We always saw him with his rosary in hand, in the friary, the halls, on the stairs, in the sacristy, in the church, even on his way to and from the confessional. When he could no longer speak, he communicated by holding up the rosary as a sign of guidance and comfort." Following the wise advice of Saint Padre Pio, placing a rosary under your pillow each night brings spiritual security and peace. First, the rosary acts as a steadying force amid life's unpredictable moments. During the quiet of the night, our minds can be vulnerable to negative influences. Holding on to the rosary reminds us of God's unwavering protection, helping to keep our thoughts grounded and our spirits calm. Secondly, having the rosary close reminds us of the importance of prayer. Touching it as we prepare for rest and as we wake each morning reconnects us with God. These small gestures mark moments to reflect, give thanks, and ask for grace for the day ahead, establishing a habit of entrusting ourselves to God daily. The third reason for placing the rosary under our pillow is that it symbolizes our trust in Mary's care and intercession. Through this simple action, we ask for Mary's motherly guidance while we sleep, believing in her powerful support. The Rosary unites our prayers with countless others, creating a shared connection with those who have turned to Mary through the centuries, asking for comfort, support, and peace. Fourth, the Rosary represents the transformative power of faith. Waking up to find the Rosary by our side is an invitation to renew our commitment to God. By using the Rosary to grow closer to Jesus and Mary, we develop patience, resilience, and humility, and our spiritual lives are enriched. Whether you're facing hardships, seeking direction, or looking to deepen your faith, the Rosary can be a guide, inspiring spiritual growth. It reminds us that we're never truly alone, and that God and Mary accompany us, providing protection and wisdom as we walk our spiritual path. Finally, resting with the Rosary under our pillow brings peace in the battle against darkness. Knowing it's there gives a sense of protection, like a shield against any disturbance. Sometimes we find ourselves awake in the night, weighed down by anxious thoughts. In these moments, the Rosary can help us feel grounded, calling us to prayer and offering relief from the burdens we carry. In the quiet of the night, it becomes a beacon of light and a reminder of God's constant presence. When morning arrives, the Rosary invites us to start the day with gratitude and a sense of purpose. Keeping it close each night is not just a ritual, but a meaningful act of faith and surrender, offering peace in the face of life's spiritual battles. As we pray each mystery of the Rosary, we meditate on pivotal moments in the lives of Jesus and Mary, gaining insight, growing closer to them, and finding strength to tackle the challenges in our own lives. The Holy Rosary teaches us key virtues like humility, perseverance, endurance, and faith. Praying it regularly can also deepen our appreciation for the Holy Mass and the sacraments. The Rosary is a beautiful prayer that brings peace, hope, and joy. Before drifting off to sleep, place your hand on the Rosary under your pillow, like a child who finds comfort in holding a favorite toy or cuddling a teddy bear. When you place your Rosary under your pillow each night, it creates discomfort for the enemy. Wearing or praying the Rosary sends Satan away. He recoils when he sees you using this powerful prayer. We're encouraged to pray the Rosary often to keep its strength alive. If you feel discouraged when sharing this message, persevere. In time, you will see how the Holy Spirit moves. By doing so, you're helping to advance the triumph of the Virgin Mary. Be with us, Mary, on our journey. Guide each step we take and lead us to Jesus, your beloved Son. Come with us, Mary. Come, pray, hope, and don't worry. Padre Pio strongly emphasized the importance of praying the Rosary with devotion. His love for prayer filled his life completely. When asked how he managed to pray so many rosaries each day, he replied, "The Lord asks this of me. He does not ask the same of you." When he was ill, he admitted to his superior, "What caused me the most suffering was not being able to say even one Hail Mary." Every evening, Padre Pio and his fellow Capuchins gathered in the church for evening prayers. After praying the Rosary, they would recite Saint Alphonsus Liguori's prayer, visit Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament, and honor Our Blessed Lady. Often, Padre Pio's voice would break with emotion as he offered these beautiful prayers to Jesus and Mary. They would also pray the novena to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, seeking blessings for everyone who had requested their prayers. After these evening prayers, the Capuchin brothers went to dine in the refectory, but Padre Pio, who only had one meal a day at noon, remained in the church to continue his prayers. When Padre Pio finally retired to his cell each night, one or two Capuchins would usually stop by to say goodnight. They would recite a Hail Mary together before parting ways. Padre Pio kept a rosary on his bedside table and another under his pillow, always nearby. One evening, Father Carmelo visited him in his cell, and Padre Pio mentioned that he planned to say several more rosaries before sleeping. Father Carmelo, curious, asked, "How many rosaries have you prayed today?" Obliged to answer his superior, Padre Pio responded, "I have prayed 34 rosaries today." May was Padre Pio's favorite month, as it's traditionally dedicated to honoring Mary. Fittingly, he was born on May 25th, a time when the Church celebrates Mary. Padre Pio often remarked that May was the most beautiful month because it reminded him of Mary's tenderness and beauty. In a heartfelt letter to Padre Agostino, he wrote, "For me, the month of May is a month of graces. Poor dear mother, how you love me. I noticed it once more at the dawn of this beautiful month. It felt as if she had no other concern but me, as she filled my heart with holy love." Padre Pio loved celebrating Mass at the altar dedicated to the Blessed Virgin Mary, often choosing the Mass of the Immaculate Conception. When one of his spiritual daughters asked him about Mary, he shared, "My daughter, it's enough to know that Mary is the mother of Jesus. She loves us so deeply that she offered God the Father his only natural Son to save his adopted children. She is a great and priceless treasure, containing within her an infinite gift, the Son of God." Padre Pio held a special devotion to Our Lady of Pompei and faithfully prayed the novena to her throughout his life. In southern Italy, near ancient Pompeii, a beautiful shrine stands dedicated to Our Lady of Pompei, founded by Blessed Bartolo Longo, who, after a powerful conversion, became a third-order Dominican and took the name Fra Rosario, Brother Rosary, in honor of the devotion. He spent his life promoting Mary's intercession. For anyone facing difficult challenges, seeking wisdom, or simply desiring to strengthen their faith, the Rosary is a powerful spiritual tool. It was Bartolo who first received a worn and damaged painting of the Madonna. He had it restored, wanting to display it on an altar in his local church. When he sought permission, the bishop suggested building a larger church instead. Bartolo agreed and worked tirelessly on the project. Once completed, the painting was restored to its original beauty, adorned with jewels and a crown, and placed on a special altar in the new church. This restored image, now known as the Madonna of Pompeii, moved all who visited it. Pilgrims came to the shrine, drawn to the unique and reverent atmosphere around the painting, and knelt in prayer. Over time, people began reporting miracles and special favors after praying before this image of Our Lady of the Rosary, cementing her as a source of inspiration and divine aid for all who seek her intercession. One of the first miraculous healings associated with Bartolo Longo was that of his own mother, who recovered completely from a life-threatening illness. Inspired by this grace, Barro began to record the many blessings attributed to Our Lady of Pompei, eventually documenting over 900 miracles. He also composed a special novena in honor of the Virgin, which quickly gained popularity. As word spread, the shrine to Our Lady of the Most Holy Rosary in Pompeii became a sought-after pilgrimage site, drawing thousands of faithful. On October 26, 1980, Pope John Paul II beatified Bartolo Longo, calling him the Apostle of the Rosary. Remarkably, the Pope visited the shrine in Pompeii a year before the beatification and returned in 2003 to pray for peace. Today, more than 4 million pilgrims visit this shrine annually. Padre Pio made multiple pilgrimages to this beloved shrine. His first journey to Our Lady of Pompeii's sanctuary was at age 14, accompanied by his teacher Angelo Cavo and several classmates. After becoming a priest, Padre Pio continued to visit. Deeply inspired by Bartolo Longo, Padre Pio sent him a holy card, writing, "May Mary watch over you with a mother's love and console you in every trial. Barro once reached out to Padre Pio for guidance on a personal matter, to which Padre Pio responded with heartfelt spiritual counsel. Throughout his life, Padre Pio frequently prayed novenas to Our Lady of Pompei, often enlisting others' prayers for special graces. In a letter to his spiritual daughter, Rafaela Caras, he requested, "If possible, would you kindly make 3 consecutive novenas to the Virgin of Pompei for a grace I am hoping to receive, one that would mean greatly to a particular soul." The Virgin Mary was Padre Pio's constant source of strength, especially in his battles with darkness. In 1964, the monastery superior was startled awake by disturbing noises from Padre Pio's cell. Rushing in, he found Padre Pio on the floor, bleeding from a wound near his eyebrow. His face was swollen and bruised, and his shoulders bore signs of force. Remarkably, a pillow had been placed under his head. When asked about it, Padre Pio explained that the devil had attacked him. The superior inquired who had placed the pillow under his head, to which Padre Pio replied, "The Madonna took it from the chair and placed it under me." Padre Pio's devotion to Mary was lifelong, dating back to his early days in Pietrelcina, where he would visit the local church to greet and pray to Our Lady of Graces. A small image of her always hung in his cell, where he would look upon her with gratitude before meals, sleep, or after a long day hearing confessions. He would raise his gaze to his little mother with love and peace before resting, and later, before he entered his eternal rest. Padre Pio's love for Mary was profound, rooted not in sentiment, but in a deep and reverent faith. His devotion went beyond words. He saw Mary as central to God's plan for humanity's salvation, drawing nearer to Jesus through her. In a letter dated May 6, 1913, he shared with Padre Agostino, "This tender mother, in her kindness, wisdom, and mercy, has blessed me with such profound graces that, in her presence or that of Jesus, I feel compelled to ask, 'Where am I? Who is beside me?' My heart burns, bound closely to the Son through his mother." Padre Pio's love for Mary manifested in a life of constant, fervent prayer. The Rosary became his inseparable companion, earning him the nickname Friar of the Rosary. He carried it in his hand or on his arm as if it were armor. Rosaries filled his room, with some under his pillow and others on his bedside table. He often referred to the Rosary as his weapon and recited it endlessly, praying with an insatiable love. Padre Pio believed the Rosary was a gift taught directly by the Virgin, the Madonna of Pompei, Lourdes, and Fatima, as a prayer to convert sinners and bring salvation. At certain times, he would walk through the friary's garden, the beads slipping through his fingers, absorbed in prayer. Many people sought a rosary from Padre Pio, and he would often give his own. To this day, these rosaries are treasured by those who received them, who often say, "This rosary was a gift from Padre Pio. It holds a special place in my heart." Whenever the friary bell signaled the time to pray the Angelus, Padre Pio's voice would resonate passionately, whether he was in the garden, at the church, or by his window. Standing at the altar, reciting the Visit to Mary Most Holy, he often found himself overwhelmed with emotion. On many nights, he would awaken in the early hours, open his cell window, and listen to someone outside singing Schubert's or Gounod's Ave Maria in his honor. Deeply moved, he would call out, "Bravo! Bravo! May the Madonna protect and bless you, my son," cheering and applauding with sincere joy. In 1959, the statue of Our Lady of Fatima began a journey across Italy by helicopter, departing from Cova, Portugal. Padre Pio eagerly awaited her arrival, especially as he was enduring a painful case of pleurisy, which had kept him from celebrating Mass and hearing confessions since May 5th. This absence from his ministry deeply troubled him, so he longed for the Madonna's visit as a source of comfort. Each evening, starting from March 31st, Padre Pio would share his thoughts with the faithful over a loudspeaker, filling the church with his spiritual reflections. On the evening of August 4th, he told the congregation, "We have but a few hours for our mother's visit. Let us not be found empty-handed." The next night, August 5th, he spoke with emotion. "In a few minutes, our mother will be in our home. Let us open our hearts." By the morning of August 6th, the church was filled with people, and Padre Pio joined, supported by his fellow priests. Exhausted, he sat for a long time before the statue, and when it was brought near for him to kiss, he lovingly placed in her hands a rosary given to him by his prayer group from San Casciano in Valdipesa. The gesture moved everyone present to tears. For Padre Pio, if Jesus was the path and light to the Father, then Mary was the way and light that brought him closer to Jesus. With her guidance and by mirroring her virtues, he strove to draw nearer to Christ, embracing humility, her defining virtue. This humility was a constant, quiet struggle for Padre Pio, a deep concern over whether he was truly aligning with divine grace. Even when throngs of believers surrounded him, seeking his prayers and miracles, his humility kept him serene and composed, enabling him to silently accept all hardships, including misunderstandings, humiliation, and suffering. To those who asked for his prayers, Padre Pio would simply say, "Love the Madonna," and recite the Rosary. His guardian once inquired how many rosaries he prayed each day. With a humble admission, Padre Pio replied, "Well, I should be honest with my guardian. I have recited 34 inches. For him, the Rosary was an ongoing reflection on the mysteries of Calvary, Jesus' redemptive mission, and the sorrows of Mary. He held a deep reverence for Our Lady of Pompei, never missing an opportunity to visit her shrine.